For as long as humans have opened their eyes to the world, we've asked the same simple question. Why? Why does fire burn? Why do the stars move? Why do living things change from one generation to the next? And why does the universe behave the way it does? These questions have guided every step of our journey. And the answers we discovered didn't just change small parts of life. They transformed everything. They reshaped our bodies, our societies, our understanding of nature, and even our sense of who we are. Today, we're going to explore the discoveries that had the greatest impact on human history. Not the flashiest inventions, not the loudest breakthroughs, but the quiet, powerful ideas that rewrote the rules of reality. Explained simply, clearly, and in a way anyone can understand. So settle in, because the story of human discovery is also the story of how we became us. Today, we're going to look at something unusual. Not a single invention, not a single theory, but the handful of discoveries that quietly redirected the entire story of humanity. The ones that didn't just make life easier, but fundamentally changed what it means to be human. And what's interesting is that none of them felt big at the moment they happened. Fire wasn't a ceremony. Language had no inventor. The first numbers were scratched into bone by people who didn't realize they were opening the door to physics computers and rockets. So let's explore the discoveries that shaped our world. Explained simply, clearly, and maybe with a few surprises along the way. Let's start where every human story begins, in the dark. Imagine humans before fire. Nights were short. Food was hard to digest. Predators roamed. Every calorie was precious, because chewing raw roots and raw meat doesn't give you much energy. Our ancestors had the brains of early humans, yes, but not the fuel to run them. Then, someone somewhere no one knows who learned to borrow fire from nature and keep it burning. Maybe a lightning strike hit a tree. Maybe there was a volcanic spark. But for the first time, humans carried light into the night. Fire didn't just warm us. It upgraded us. Cooked food released far more energy, and suddenly the human brain and organ that depends on huge amounts of calories could grow and evolve. Fire pushed us up the ladder of intelligence long before we ever drew a picture on a cave wall. With fire, we didn't just survive. We multiplied, we traveled, we transformed landscapes. Fire didn't feel like a discovery, but it reshaped our biology, our bodies, and our future. In a sense, fire wasn't humanity's first tool. It was humanity's first superpower. If fire was our hardware upgrade, then language was our first operating system. Language didn't appear with a bang. There was no moment when people suddenly started speaking in complete sentences. It evolved slowly, gestures, grunts, simple sounds, until eventually a pattern formed. Not just communication, but meaning. Not just information, but memory. Language let humans share what they learned. A person who discovered how to make a sharp stone didn't have to die with that knowledge. They could teach. Others could improve it. Knowledge became cumulative. It could grow generation after generation. This seems ordinary today, but it's extraordinary. No other species on Earth has this ability at our scale. A whale can sing. A wolf can warn its pack. But only humans can teach someone a concept that doesn't exist in front of them yesterday, tomorrow. Justice, infinity, hope. Language created culture communities and cooperation. It let us coordinate in groups larger than families. It allowed storytelling, the oldest way humans made sense of a confusing world. With language, a species of primates became a species of thinkers. At some point, early humans scratched a few marks on a bone. Maybe they were counting days. Maybe sheep. Maybe the phases of the moon. It doesn't matter. What matters is that numbers existed small at first, but enough to start a new way of understanding the world. Mathematics wasn't invented so much as it was discovered. The patterns were already there. Gravity was already operating. Waves were already forming. The world had always spoken the language of numbers. Humans just learned how to listen. As math grew, our understanding of the world changed. We began to realize that nature wasn't random. It followed rules, predictable rules. And once you can measure something, you can control it, predict it, build around it. Mathematics became the foundation of everything that followed, from architecture and navigation to physics and modern computing. Today, math is the quiet engine behind every technology we depend on. But at its core, the beauty of mathematics is simple. It turns the chaos of the universe into something we can understand. For most of human history, the sky was mysterious. Things fell down, planets moved in loops. Comets appeared out of nowhere. There were myths and explanations, but no unifying idea. Then Isaac Newton watched an apple fall. Maybe not dramatically, maybe not at all, but he asked a question no one had asked clearly before. Is the force that pulls this apple down the same force that moves the moon? That question changed everything. Newton's laws unified the earth and the heavens for the first time in history. The same rules applied everywhere. And with math, those rules became predictions. We could calculate the path of a cannonball, or the orbit of Mars, or the motion of a pendulum. The universe was no longer a stage full of unpredictable actors. It became a machine precise, elegant, comprehensible. Newton gave humanity the confidence to ask bigger questions. If the universe followed rules, then all we needed to do was find them. This was the beginning of modern science. For thousands of years, people wondered where life came from, why creatures looked the way they did, why some species vanished, why some thrived. Then came the idea that changed biology forever evolution by natural selection. Evolution is simpler than most people think. If a trait helps an organism survive or reproduce, that trait becomes more common. That's it. No grand plan, no straight line. Just tiny advantages, generation after generation, accumulating into incredible diversity. Evolution didn't make humans the strongest. It made us the most adaptable. It favored brains over claws, cooperation over speed, creativity over size. It also removed humans from the center of the universe. We weren't created separately. We were connected to every animal, plant, and microbe on Earth. All life is related. All life is part of the same tree. And perhaps the most humbling part, evolution is still happening quietly all around us. Electricity was always present in nature, from lightning storms to the electric pulses inside our own bodies. But for centuries, humans saw it as a strange and dangerous curiosity. Then scientists began to tame it one experiment at a time. Static charges, copper wires, spinning coils. Until eventually we learned how to generate electricity on command. This discovery did not simply improve life, it reinvented it. Electric light ended the eternal rhythm of day and night. Electric motors transformed factories. Communication became instant. Cities expanded. Medicine advanced. Entertainment exploded. And all of it powered by flows of electrons that no one can see. Electricity is the quiet force behind almost every modern object you touch. Without it, the world as we know it collapses instantly. Electricity is the bloodstream of modern civilization. For most of history, we knew life reproduced, but not how information passed from parents to children. Why did you look like your father? Why did plants grow the same way year after year? The answer was hidden inside cells, long strands of a molecule called DNA. A molecule that stores instructions. A molecule that makes you you. The structure of DNA revealed something profound. All living things use the same code. Humans, trees, bacteria, whales, we are all variations of the same molecular language. DNA explains inheritance, evolution, diseases, and diversity. It opened the door to modern genetics, biotechnology, forensic science, and personalized medicine. Understanding DNA didn't just explain life. It gave us the tools to alter it carefully, ethically, but powerfully. For the first time, humans could read and edit the code of biology. If you want to see the most influential piece of technology ever made, hold up your smartphone. Inside it are billions of tiny switches called transistors, each smaller than a grain of dust. each switching on and off millions of times per second. All thanks to semiconductors materials that can control electricity in precise ways. Transistors didn't just make computers possible. They made modern life possible. Every digital device, every network, every website, every calculation, all of it traces back to these tiny innovations. Semiconductors turned math into machines. They allowed information to move at near the speed of light. They created the digital age, the internet age, and now the AI age. We often talk about revolutions, but the semiconductor revolution is the quietest and most impactful one of all. And now we arrive at the newest discovery one that isn't even finished unfolding. Artificial intelligence is not magic, it's math data and patterns. But the scale is new. For the first time, we have machines that can learn. Machines that can understand language. Machines that can assist us in thinking, creating, and exploring. AI doesn't replace human intelligence. It amplifies it. It takes tasks that were once slow, expensive, or impossible and transforms them into something anyone can do. Scientific research is accelerating. Discoveries in medicine, climate science, physics, and biology are happening faster because AI is analyzing data in ways humans can't. AI is not the end of the story. It's the next tool in humanity's long journey of understanding the universe. The wheel extended our legs. The telescope extended our eyes. AI extends our minds. Where this will lead is a question only the future can answer. When you look at these discoveries together, a pattern appears. Fire changed our biology. Language changed our minds. Math changed our understanding. Newton changed our predictability. Evolution changed our place in nature. Electricity changed our society. DNA changed our identity. Semiconductors changed our tools. And AI is changing our possibilities. Each discovery didn't just answer a question. It created new ones. It expanded the boundary of what humans could do. And maybe that's the real story of science, not the discoveries themselves, but the curiosity that drives them. Humans are a species that is never satisfied with the world as it is. We want to know why things fall where we come from, how life works, and what else is possible. So if history teaches us anything, it's this. The most impactful discoveries are never behind us. They're ahead of us, waiting for someone curious enough to ask the next question. And maybe that person could be you. Every discovery we talked about today began the same way, with curiosity. A person noticed something strange, a pattern, a problem, a question no one else had bothered to ask. And instead of ignoring it, they followed it, even when the answers were difficult, even when the truth was uncomfortable. That curiosity is our most powerful trait. It's the force that carried us from firelight to satellites, from simple tools to artificial intelligence. And it's the same force that will shape the discoveries still waiting in our future. We don't know what the next great breakthrough will be. It might come from a laboratory, or from a computer, or from a curious kid asking why for the very first time. But history has shown one thing. Again and again, our greatest discoveries are never behind us. They're always ahead. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoy exploring the world through simple explanations, you're always welcome here. There's still so much left to understand.